Welcome to Chit Chat with Ross
and Robbie, where we like to chat.
about chit.
We do, even on a Monday.
Dun, dun, dun. You sound like you're dying over there.
Why? No, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
You know something I think that is dying?
What?
Newspapers.
Why?
I don't think people actually subscribe to printed newspapers like they did at one time.
Well, here it is. We are in 2018. We're swimming in a world of technology.
Yes, and how easy is it to wake up in the morning and go, what's going on with the news today? There you go. Everything is all digital.
Okay.
I
Just
mean,
like that.
Really?
You know, and this is oh man. So
it's gonna be a long
this
one.
is no. Well, you tuned in for it, so.
It's your fault. Mike.
Anyway, it's not our fault. No, so this is annoying to me because I have been listening to not a particular radio station, but I remember hearing on a radio station, they were like, "Hey, and this was a fun song by fun singer, blah blah blah." Coming up next, we have the weather. Siri, what is the weather? And Siri on the radio gave the weather.
Oh, that's not cool. That's not cool.
And I was like, "Oh my gosh, we don't even have a weather person anymore."
Okay, so here's my thought about newspapers. I do love the old hometown newspaper. I really do. We subscribed to it when I was growing up. I loved getting it. I loved opening it up, feeling it. I loved ripping it. Newspaper print, you could tear like this very easily. It didn't tear this way very easily. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And you'd get done reading the newspaper and your hands would be nasty, filthy. One, maybe because it sat in your driveway for a while, but another, it's just that the ink, newsprint ink gets on your hands and it's all yucky.
Yes, but another thing, in conjunction with the whole newspapers and everything, bookstores. What about bookstores?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm very old fashioned when it comes to certain things.
Man.
I know a lot of people have Kindles and Nooks and things and they read their stuff on their phone. Not me. I want a book that I can open up, I can turn the pages, I can touch them, I can smell the paper. I love a good book.
And
growing up, we had a bookstore in Blytheville called That Bookstore, and it was so much fun to go and do stuff. And then we got the bigger bookstores, the bigger chains that are all over the world, which are great. But then there's a local bookstore that I love, and it just seems to always have anything I ever need.
But see, it's always that. So for the chains, the chains I think were great in the respect that they opened up the coffee nooks and whatever, and you could go and you could browse a book in the bookstore, and it was a great way to maybe meet somebody. It was a great way to talk to somebody.
True.
And oh, I see that book you're reading there. What do you know about that book or that author? And you could be like, this is what I've learned so far and whatever. And I feel like that experience is just going forever away.
And it's very sad.
It is super sad.
However, for the bookseller who might have had the coffee in the bookstore and then people in the some people might just sit there and read the book and not ever buy it. Somebody else might get their coffee and spill it all over that book. You
That's
can't
what
sell
the
it then.
library's for. Library.
Okay.
Probably fading away too.
I've been going to libraries a little bit more recently just to see if they still exist.
Support them.
Yeah, they're free.
And then I'm guessing I haven't been not to the library. I order books all the time. But I haven't been to the library in a long time.
I have been to libraries recently.
So that's good.
I used to love going to the library after school as a kid.
But and I love that because I don't know, did you go into did you explore sections? There's probably always the section you went to, but then there was you know what? I've never ventured off into that area before.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I loved our little hometown library and the librarian. Do you remember
Which
her?
is now grown, but yes.
The woman,
different
she'd
building.
answer the phone. She'd say, "County Library, it's this Jewel Wayne." She was such a sweet
Jill's
woman.
still there, I believe.
No, she died.
She passed away.
Yeah.
She's there in spirit.
She was a sweet, sweet woman, and she made me love being at the library, which I think was really important growing up as a kid because then you really enjoyed the books.
No, and that was the thing too, especially if you have that, we've talked about growing up, small town, big town, we did have that small town, and so it's nice because sometimes even that person might be like, hey, I know that you were reading the book about Lassie, what did you think about Lassie? Did you enjoy that book? And you'd be like, yes, thank you for remembering that I checked that book out.
I am one. I check the news daily online. Hometown news. I always do, and I always.
That's how she knew Jewel passed away.
And I always go and read the obituaries in the local funeral home website.
I read the comics. There you go. And horoscopes, and I used to love Dear Abby.
Yeah, Dear Abby was
Dear
fun.
Abby.
Yeah.
Anyway, So, what about these things? How do you feel about
You think they're going away?
Do you think it's all fading away? We're getting lost in the world of technology, and
Are you sad that they're going away?
are you
if
sad?
You think they
Like,
are?
especially if you're in that generation that grew up with it. Like, you might be in that in-between stage
Yeah.
where you grew up on technology and such. What do you think? We don't know.
Sunday newspapers. That was like a tradition. You wake up on Sunday morning, you get all these sections out, you read the coffee. You drink the coffee and read the paper.
And they had the colored comics. Like,
Yes, they did.
The weeklies were black and
Man,
white.
your
but
hands
on
were
Sunday
really
it was-
messed up.
I know. I love it. Anyway, leave us some comments down in the box below. Don't forget to like us.
Don't forget to share us.
Check us out on YouTube.
We'll see you tomorrow on Facebook. Bye.
Bye.